Hi guys, welcome back. Hope you guys are doing fantastic wherever you are in this world. I know things right now are just so heart-wrenching and just so sad to see what this country is going through, but I also have hope. I have so much hope. But before we get into that, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Ronelle. If you don't know, I was born and raised in South Africa. About over 20 years ago, my son, my husband, and I actually were immigrated to the United States and traveled all around the United States and experienced a lot. So what I'm seeing right now is so heartbreaking, because it's like, are the black people still fighting for equality? We are in 2020. I'm just going to give my thoughts and opinions on all that is going on and what we can do to help in the situation. If you can't donate financially, sign petitions, but we're going to get into all that in this video. So if you guys like, or before you leave, please feel free to subscribe, ring the notification bell so you'll be notified each time I upload, and I thank you in advance for that. So let's get into it. First of all, it is so sad to see that in 2020 people are still fighting for equality and basically fighting for their human rights. End of story. This is why I am so hopeful, and I know we're gonna get somewhere. This is definitely change. So as you look at these rallies or these protests, people want change. And you guys, 67 million Americans are part of Gen Z. They are also the most racially and ethnically diverse generation. 48% are non-white. So this is a movement, it's a revolution. People want change, period. You guys, we all want to know how we can make a difference, how we can change things, how we can do better or be better. I have this chart where it says, until you fix it here, address it here, nothing changes here. So let's start with what's inside of you. Racism can definitely be found in our hearts unknowingly and unwillingly, and that's because of our upbringing. But no one is born to hate another person because of their skin color. People are taught and they learn how to hate. And if they are taught and they learn how to hate, they can also be taught and they can also learn how to love. So at the end of the day, love comes more naturally to the heart. So with that said, racism is a character flaw. So a transformation of the human heart is simply examining yourself. And once you've sorted that part out, because you gotta fix yourself first, you can't be of any help to anybody else. Whether you're a parent, you can't be of any help to your kids. If you are a teenager, how are you supposed to be a good friend to the person that's in need? In this situation, the black community. So you have to fix yourself first, your heart, what's inside of you, what you're harboring. So you got to fix that first. Then we move on, address it here, which means in your home. Educate yourself. You don't even have to look that deep. We see these injustices to black people weekly, monthly. And if you have to have a dialogue with those whose lives are affected in this way, then go for it. Be quick to listen and slow to speak. You need to acknowledge, respect, and encounter those by listening to their experiences so you can have an understanding, even empathize, and be able to be of help to them. Consider the dignity of others when having a conversation or during a conversation. Put yourself in those people's shoes. These black men and women face injustices daily. I'm just going to use a few examples, and there's many more that you can look up and that you can find. But I'm just going to go through a few examples where I show you the injustices that happen to these people of color, and also how white privilege exists. So let's look at Brian Banks. He was falsely accused of raping a sophomore. He lost 10 years of his life. The girl eventually recanted her story that she falsely accused him of rape. And you guys, this is the saddest part, is that she will not face any repercussions. There will be no legal actions taken against her. It was due to her that this man lost 10 years of his life. He had everything going for him. But because of the statement that she made, his life was lost. He lost 10 years of his life. Now, how fair is that? Now, a totally different person of a totally different skin color, Mr. Brock Turner, a Stanford University student and athlete. He got 6 months in jail. 6 months, you guys, for sexually assaulting an unconscious woman. He got 6 months. So, where is the fairness? This is so hard, and this happens all the time. Another example, let's take Amber Guyger. Remember Amber Guyger, the police officer in Texas that actually shot Mr. Botham Jean in his own apartment, shot and killed him. So this woman, Amber Guyger, for shooting and killing a black man, she got 10 years, but will only serve 5 years. Whereas if a black man had to appear in court on the same charges, I'm sorry, there's no doubt about it, book thrown at him, longest sentence ever, if not death row. That's just the way of the world. So why is that compassion towards Amber Guyger not reflected or given to a person of color in that situation? Probably they are not given that opportunity. They're not given that compassion. They're not given that empathy. Amber Guyger, she got 10 years, but only to serve 5. She got a hug from the judge. She got a hug from the victim's brother. When it comes to raising our kids, and yes, I fully respect those people that want to use books to educate their kids and to navigate their kids through life and stuff like that. But my philosophy has always been, the best experience is life experience. I've lived through the apartheid era. I've lived to see our country of South Africa become a democratic country. So the racism part I've experienced. Being in the United States is like so heartbreaking now in 2020, as I said, to see this happen. I've explained to my kids, look, during this situation and in this life, there's a vast difference of black and white. The white person or the white family would sit down and have that conversation with their kids, that if ever they feel they're in trouble, to call the police are there to help. Whereas on the opposite end of the spectrum, a black family has to sit their sons down and explain to them that when they, or if they are ever stopped by a police officer, how to avoid an altercation with them. They need to be taught not to wear a hoodie because that makes you suspicious. Not to have your hands in your pocket because you could be carrying a firearm. How is that even right? It's just so sad. Police are supposed to be there to protect and serve. The white person is fully confident in the justice system or the police. But a black person is afraid because at the end of it, they're either going to be shot, but the end results will be they will be killed. My kids face colorism all the time. And the sad thing about it is that they are being told, if you say you're black, why aren't you black? Why aren't you dark in skin tone? Why are you so light? Why do you have such good hair? What these people don't understand, and which I tell my kids to educate, and which I've educated my kids, and for my kids to tell them that South Africa is one of the most diverse in the world. And that's how they were given rise to the term Rainbow Nation. We have 11 different languages, and 8 of those other languages are recognized languages. So it's hard for them as kids to actually be proud of where they actually come from or where their parents come from, and then be judged for it. We as parents have to educate our kids, and we have to teach them how to be compassionate, respect, be knowledgeable, to also be considerate of other people's feelings, and also allow them to have knowledge so they can educate others. And most importantly is empathy. They've got to know how to empathize with the next person, to have an open heart and an open mind. We need to raise our kids to break this generational curse. We need to raise them to accept each other as equals. I tell my kids, you are above nobody and nobody is above you. And they know that. They treat everybody the way they want to be treated. In closing, this is the gist of what I have to say. We must continue to fight for justice and spread awareness, but continue to show love, gentleness, compassion, and respect. We must press forward without fear, building relationships, healing communities, and working to fix the systems and the laws towards the good for all. Towards the good for all. We are not inadequate in any way. We are powerful, and I emphasize powerful beyond measure. I am actually seeing a lot of this where people are actually calling the next person out or calling certain people out to basically speak up about the cause and give their inputs on what's going on. Me personally, I feel if you're going to ask somebody to stand up for what's right and they're not doing that on their own voluntarily, then if they are being asked to do it, it's not coming from an authentic place. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like I always say, we are only responsible for ourselves. Once we have come to some kind of agreement or resolution in this whole situation, we can see exactly who is who. There are so many ways we can help in the situation. It doesn't have to only be now. You know, maybe contribute financially or keep signing petitions. No, I've been dealing with this for a long time. And this is the way I feel I have been helping in regard to my kids in their school. You know, my children are very aware of their surroundings. They pick up very quick. And I'm not holding my kids on a pedestal, but my kids are very, very compassionate and empathetic. They would come back from school. Example, one of the kids would probably come and say, Mom, so-and-so's not going to or going on the field trip. And when you look closely, it's all the black kids, you know. So what I would do is I would communicate with the teacher and I would pay for those kids to be able to go on a field trip so they don't feel left out. So that's a way for us as parents to actually help out and to bridge this gap. Another way is the past 2 years. My daughter has just graduated, and for the past 2 years, it's been brought to our attention that you know how many people cannot afford to pay graduate fees. You know, they work so hard during the year, but unfortunately they just cannot pay those fees to graduate. So that's where I also step in. I can't pay for everybody, but I make it my duty to at least take on 5 people that I can pay for. And, you know, the teachers can attest to this. So at the end of the day, there's so many things we can do behind the scenes, you guys. You just got to look and find it. Your kids can help you find these things, you know. There's kids there at their schools that need so much help. Build a relationship with the teachers and find out what do they need to make everybody's school year a good one. Another thing is when the kids have snack time during class. Not everybody can bring a snack. So that's when you, maybe when you go and do your groceries, buy a bigger box of fruit snacks and send that in, or buy a bigger box of goldfish, or maybe even cheese, those cheese balls, and send it so they can also have a snack. These are just little ways in which we can bridge the gap. We can help out. So it doesn't always have to be, oh, you feel bad because you can't donate. No, there are plenty ways we can navigate through this. I appreciate you so much for listening. I truly hope this helps in some way. We've got to cleanse our heart. We were all made according to God's image and likeness. So nobody is above the next person. Nobody is superior. So at the end of the day, we got to come together and fight for what's right. Right is right and wrong is wrong, irrelevant of skin color. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate you, and don't forget, please subscribe down below, ring the notification bell so you'll be notified each time I upload. And please have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.